Hello, everybody. I am Josh Gets Lost. Welcome back to 30 Minutes a Day, the Minecraft series for those with limited time and who want to play the game at a little slower pace. Last time, we left our little base area down below, and we have ascended up into this mountain in search of resources. And we have struck quite a good spot here because we are now collecting lots and lots of iron. In fact, we're now up to 12 iron just from this expedition, just a few minutes up this mountain. We also have quite a bit of coal. Let's go ahead and grab that because, we're always needing coal to cook and to make torches, and just an important resource. And, we're not going to probably come back up into this cave for any particular reason, so might as well get the coal while we're up here. There we go. I was explaining last time that we have these leather boots on so that we can freely explore and walk around this area on foot without having to worry about landing in powdered snow, which can be quite hazardous to your health. But climbing up in mountains, if you have these nearby in your world, and if you're playing with the seed that is listed in the description below that we're using for this series, you can also be up here looking for iron and other resources in these mountains. I love looking up here. I love being under the bright blue Minecraft sky. To me, that definitely beats being down in a hole somewhere and trying to dig my way out of it. For one thing, you use less resources. Just doing open mining like this, I'm not really having to light up as I go, which is something you have to do in caves, which means any coal you get, you're slowly losing to yes, I know I did not break that properly. Forget that. It's always worth digging a little bit in these coal spots because sometimes coal will border iron and other things. But up here is a great spot to enjoy. You can see some cherry trees peeking around that corner. And unlike caves, we're not constantly having to fight mobs or worried about, crazy chasms that we'll fall into. The proper way to dig these is actually snow. But what happens if you use snow is you end up with all these snowballs. And as much fun as those are to throw, they only stack to 16. And that's something we really haven't talked about at all, is the way items stack in Minecraft. I'm going to get my bed ready here so that we can be able to sleep here in a bit when the sun goes down. But items usually stack up to 64 in one of these spots. But some items like tools, you can only have one, or beds. Buckets can stack when they're empty, kind of just like real life. But when there's items in it, like water, you can only have one of them in a spot at a time. So those are things to keep in mind. Snowballs are one of the weird items that only stacks to 16. There's a few other items in the game that's kind of meant to keep you from having too many of them. And snowballs, because they only stack to 16, they end up filling your inventory very, very fast. And we have something up here, which is a very rare block. Normally, I would not bother breaking this. I would use a special enchantment that we call Silk Touch to get these, because these are just kind of rare items that you find in the world, these emerald blocks. There are lots of other ways to get emeralds. But now we have our first emeralds of the game. And should we encounter a village or the wandering trader who we've not encountered in this world, should they show up, we will be able to take them out. Hello, sir. You coming up to see me? I let the sun do most of the work. That was our first zombie of the game. He must have been in a cave down here, and when it was night, he decided to spawn and then came out to greet us. We don't want to fall too far down, but I do want to get this iron and quite a bit of coal. Uh-oh, did you see that in the distance? Those tall trees with the vines hanging down, that is a jungle. So sweet. We're going to have to go that way, I think, on our first boat expedition, which will take Perhaps next week, I think, will be our boat expedition week. We'll head out and see the world from a slightly different viewpoint. The viewpoint of riding in boats. And man, you can tell up here, look how much coal there is all in this one spot. This should last us quite a bit for torches and other things. And if we want to go mining, which we will eventually, we can use all this coal to help us out there. Now we are up to 27 iron, which is amazing. You do want to watch out. There are some holes here, things like that. Let's just keep circling around the mountain and see what else we find. Looking kind of around here. I don't see any right in this vicinity. And of course, we could probably spend all day up here just looking up every nook and cranny. But we're just going to work our way around and see the views. There's a sheep way down there. Pretty cool. Here is another cave. I want to make sure there's no scary guys. Oh, glad we came in here. We found some more emerald. Now, normally that might be something that you could wait and use and get when you have enchantments. I just want to collect them for now because we'll probably come back. There's a lot of mountains up here to explore. And I don't really need to try to min-max those. And the fact, if I mark it with a torch or something, there's a good chance I never come back and find it anyways. So that's just kind of how it works. Now, I have heard a weird sound, which is goats. Oh, there one is. So goats are one of the newer mobs in Minecraft. They've only been around the last 3 updates, I believe. And they are a lot of fun. But unfortunately, he disappeared on us. Oh, hello. Good, I have enough. I was trying to save our first boat, perhaps, for when we got cherry wood. But we're going to make a boat right now because this is another way to move animals in Minecraft. It's basically just 5 things here. Make a boat. For the planks, if you're on Bedrock Edition, you have to make a wooden shovel as well for the ore. That's a little difference in the 2 versions. I want to find a nice clean spot that I could... Maybe, can you get in that? There we go. Can I get down to the bottom with you? Let's see. And we've got an achievement for getting in the boat. I right click to get in the boat. Mobs like animals and villagers, you can just kind of bump into a boat and they will naturally get pulled in. You can fit 2 people or two mobs or 2 villagers in a boat. And of course, our achievement, whatever floats your goat. There we go. I mean that's basically beating Minecraft right there. We've got the boat, we've got him in, we've got a goat in it, and I'm gonna mess up all the words. Usually when I'm on a boat, I change my perspective, and the way you change your perspective normally in Minecraft is by pushing the F5 key, which will switch you from your normal first-person view to a third-person view to a sort of selfie second-person view kind of thing going on here. So here we are. I like when I'm in a boat to have third-person view on because you can see the whole boat. I think it helps. Some people get motion sickness when you're on the water or if you're boating on ice and it starts going really fast. So the way I prevent that is by going in to third person here. I also have trouble reaching for my F5 key. And so what I end up doing is I actually go to control settings. And up here, I will change my perspective. Toggle perspective from F5. And I use the R key. And that way it's a little easier for my fingers to hit on the keyboard. And it's not really something I use for anything else in Minecraft. Now boats are kind of interesting in that you can fall a great distance at least in Java Edition if you are in a boat. If you're in Bedrock, I think it's a little different, although I think they're kind of changing that a bit. But you can fall a very far distance. Unfortunately, you cannot boat uphill, so you kind of want to make sure you have a clean downward path towards where you're going. Otherwise, you'll get stuck and have to break the boat and recapture the mob, the animal that's there that you're trying to move. But here we go. Let's get the goat back. These are really cool because, oh, there's a scary, spooky cave right there. They provide something called goat horns. I know it's shocking. Goat provides goat horns. And what we can do is, one of the ways you can contain mobs is by putting them in a pen or putting them in a hole that's deep enough they can't get out of. Another way is you can just leave them in a boat. So there you go, buddy. You live in this boat now. I hope you're happy about that. I'm going to go over here and drop off some of our goodies. Let's go ahead and take that out. And let's see, we've got 27 iron, which means 27 divided by 8 is 3, almost into 4. So let's just drop in for coal here. Now, once it runs out of things to cook, if there's any leftover coal, it won't cook anymore. It'll just finish off whichever one was currently going. I'm going to get... Do I already have an iron? I do. So I'm going to grab one of these. And we're going to make our first shears of the game. Now, shears are very helpful. There's some items like vines and items like we saw some glowy stuff in a cave that looked like kind of cave vines. That's called glow lichen. There's things like that you can actually only get with shears. Another thing we talked about earlier that you can do with shears is get the wool from these amazing sheep without having to kill them. And that's very important. And now we can do a trick, which is perfect. We have 2 gray wool. Let's go over. If you put the 2 wool side by side, they will make carpets. And there's a fun little trick here where if you put a carpet on top of the fence, it suddenly means the carpet is at the level of 1. So the fence here is no longer too high or 1.5 high, whatever they officially call it, which means you can jump up on here and exit and enter your fences, but the sheep and cows actually can not. So that's something that's kind of interesting with how that works. I'm going to put these back here for safekeeping. Actually, we're going to take them on our adventure because I've got some ideas of what to do with these. We'll put the wool in there for our beds. We're going to put our wonderful emeralds up here in the keepsakes. Those will be our first emeralds of the world. Raw rabbit we'll just put down here for when we eventually cook it. We have plenty of food still in our possession. Gravel I'll just leave here. Go ahead and split this because I don't want to take all of that with us. Oh, and the black wool we will leave in here as well. So kind of just trying to keep our inventory nice and neat. In fact, I don't want all of this. So I'm going to go ahead and leave some of this in here as well. That way it's here to cook. And now we're beginning to get iron. So this is important. You can begin to get iron tools. One of the iron things that I highly suggest getting is not possible to get right now because I don't have any sticks. It is an iron sword. So when it comes to swords, until you get to the iron stage, there's really no point in having both a sword and an axe. The axe will do, when it's the stone axe, will do kind of as much damage as a stone sword. But once you get to iron, it begins to be more useful to have the sword, not only because an axe requires the enemies to get a little closer to you, but also because the sword starts doing more damage to the enemies than the axe would. So that's something to keep in mind. And we can also begin now to do some iron armor. And of course, the first thing that we want to check out here is a chest plate that takes 8 iron. So we're going to get one of those. We've got an advancement I'll show you in a second. We want to get a helmet. And I have 3 iron left, which is not enough for the iron pants. We will need 7 for those and 4 for shoes. But for now, we're going to stick with the leather shoes because so we need 1 more iron to get our pants. But you can see we got the advancement, suit up, which is teaching you that you should get iron armor. All right, we've got that. Go back to what's possible. Boom, let's get some pants. Now you can see at the bottom, my amount of armor is a lot higher than it was. We're going to begin to upgrade our tools, but for now we're going to actually leave these in here because a stone axe and a stone shovel should suffice us for now. And let's go ahead and cook these mutton, so in case we get back here in an emergency, we will be able to use that. So we've got 4 iron left over. We can make more tools, but for now we'll just stick with what we have. And let's go. Where's the sun? Over there. We just slept. Let's head that way in search of trees specifically. So that iron run up to the top of the mountain was very good for us, and we didn't really even explore most of the top there. So that's something that we'll definitely maybe do again here in the future. But it's a good way to build up your iron supply for early game. Because even to do things like set up an iron farm, which is something that's a little more advanced in the game and something I love to do, you need iron in order to be able to collect the resources from the iron farm. Kind of one of those, what do you start with first kind of situations. And so for me, it's easier to get it through mining or exploring, and then you can begin to look farther and look at getting some of the iron for your iron farm. That's going to be more for massive quantities that you're going to use for other purposes in the game later. So we've got a giant cave mouth over here. I wish I could look a little deeper. I see some granite. That is a great block for building. I see some dripstone. We may have to venture down that way. I even see some iron up there. You think we should try it? I feel like it's a bad idea. There are a lot of people around. Always good to check if there's any of the resources closer. So that way you don't have to worry about venturing as far down, because that cave is going to be filled with bad guys. Let's work our way down slowly. You always, especially in a cave, want to keep track of what's above you, because that's where creepers most often will come from. And it's a lot easier to escape things that are down below you. We're going to grab some of this dripstone. This is a very important block that you can get these dripstone points. We've got 13. That's going to be good enough for me. I've spent enough time in this cave now. I'm good to go. Time to head out. Our first foray, we did go into a cave, everyone. Write it down, and you can already see there is a creeper up there waiting for us. So we're going to have to fight him as soon as I get a little better position. And I hear a zombie. Woo! We're gonna die. Oh no, we made it. Woo! Have a heart. Glad this is why we don't play hardcore. And this looks like a great spot for blue flowers. Baby zombies are terrible. That fire did quite a bit of damage to me. Without protection on my armor, there's only so many hits you can take. And that creeper definitely exploded all over us and the baby zombie as well. I really want to get that iron, though. You can see a spider down there. This is why. Well, thank you. And our first rotten flesh of the world. All right. That was a little more fun than I wanted to have, I think. Let's go over here. We can still see there's quite a bit of bad guys around, but what we're going to do is use our blocks that we have to create a little platform to collect this iron with. All right. Which ended up being good. I thought there was like one maybe, and instead there was actually quite a bit of iron there. And it looks like our mobs that died left us some XP, so we'll go collect that. Although I think the creeper did most of the work there. And I honestly don't know how we didn't die. We barely made it out of there. Half a heart, half a heart. That was enough scares for me. So that scary cave's there. There's one tree over by itself that way, but I know I saw one over here as well. So let's head up and check out these cherry blossoms. These cherry blossom biomes are a new thing that was added in 1.20. And they have some cool, unique features and things you can only find in them. I see it now. I see it. Ooh, that was farther than I thought. Oh, I could have gotten some dripstone down there without endangering my life quite as much. So we've got some over here, some farther that way. That means we want to go. Let's go ahead and go after this one over here, because that'll at least put us right next to the spruce, and we won't have a whole another mountain to climb to get over to that. And it looks like there are some horses over that way. We can't really do anything with those yet because we don't have a saddle, but that's good to know because horses are one of the fun ways to travel around the world, and having those over there should make it a lot of fun. Now, the only bad side about there only being one tree over on this side is not only is there, oh, I guess there's two trees. They're kind of grown together there. The bad side about there only being this small amount of trees is that we got to make sure to get the saplings because otherwise we won't be able to replant them. But here in the cherry blossom biome, you can see there on the left side where it says biome, cherry grove. They have these beautiful flowers on the ground that you can pick up with shears. This is actually why part of the reason I kept the shears on me is because these make for some fun decorating. And even if you plant a cherry tree back at your base, these flowers on the ground only happen in the cherry groves. So it's good to collect these, and they collect very fast. I've already got 64. And there's different levels. Some of these only maybe have one. Some of these may have, I think, up to 4 cherry blossoms there. So we're going to begin to cut the tree. These are a little trickier in that there's some of the logs that are hiding above the other logs. Now I'm trying to figure out, there we go. Sometimes you can't quite reach the higher up logs. I gotta watch out. Is there a nest over here? I saw a bee. One of the things you can do with the leaves is you can actually use shears on them and collect them as leaves, which is very, very cool. I'll do that for a couple of these, just maybe for having some of these around to do it. But if we're going to be replanting these at home, what we actually want to do is... Uh-oh. Seriously, guys? Well, we're about to learn about another part of Minecraft. This is not what I expected. He shot at me, didn't he? Come on, buddy. You shooting at me? I do not like that guy. So there is a whole troop of these guys up here. I'll just keep letting that guy shoot his buddy. This banner guy, you want to try to avoid killing if you can, because he is extra bad. And I'm going to go around here and eat real quick. Problem is, I won't be able to sleep while this guy is around. And I've gotten Bad Omen, but we're going to have to deal with that. Thankfully, there are no villages around here, so it's not really a big deal. And I'll explain why here in a second. I got a little quiet there because I was trying not to die. Those guys are a pain. They randomly spawn in your world. They are called Pillager patrols. And they are kind of jerks, as you can see. They broke in. I was in the middle of explaining how we were going to get more saplings out of this. It looks like we've already gotten 2 of these cherry saplings. You can use a hoe on the leaves to break them quickly and perhaps get saplings. You can also just punch them. But what I do usually is cut the tree first and then worry about the saplings after that. So let's get these chopped. And we've got 2 more up there. Let's see what I have that's easy to break. Ironically, I'm going to make more trees to cut trees. There we go. So Pillager patrols will explore your world. They are usually armed with crossbows, which are pretty deadly. If I didn't have that armor on, I probably would have been killed in 2 or 3 shots by those guys. But the guy with the banner, he is the Pillager captain. And if you kill him, you get an effect called Bad Omen on you, which lasts, you can see here, almost 2 hours. So there are a couple things to do if you have Bad Omen. One is you can go to a village and it will initiate something called a raid. You're basically bringing a curse back to the village. It is not something that we are in any way prepared for at this time to deal with. They can be very, very rewarding once you are geared up and able to handle them. We also don't even know where a village is. So I don't even know, that wouldn't really be a concern. So I could probably play the next good bit of our world without dealing with it. But as soon as I get a few more of these cherry saplings, what we'll do is we'll head down and grab one of these cows, and I'll show you guys how to get rid of it. There's one. Boom. I really want a horse. Those are so cool. All right, let's get a few more of these. These are finite resources because you can only get them from these cherry groves. So they're worth collecting and worth getting back home. The trees, however, can be replanted. So we don't have to worry as much about collecting all the leaves or anything from that, because when we farm them, we can just get more leaves at that time if we want to use them for decorating or things like that. So there we go. Whew. I think my heart is still racing between that creeper over by the cave and the Pillager patrol that tried to take us out. That was a lot of stuff. Now I was hoping, if you were watching that fight against the Pillagers, I was hoping that those 2 in the back, they were accidentally shooting the captain quite a bit. And I was hoping that they would do that. And oh yeah, you can also use shears to collect leaves of trees if you want to use those for decorating. I was hoping they would shoot him, which they did several times. I was hoping they would shoot him and kill him so that he would be dead and I wouldn't get the Bad Omen effect. A couple other ways you can kill them without getting that effect are you could have a bucket of lava and just set him on fire and burn him, because the death counts as the lava killing him and not you. You can also, if you have something called a flint and steel, which we have not made yet, that helps start fires. You could light him on fire that way. You could just kind of trick him into going off a cliff. You could just ignore them. Normally that's what I would do. For example, a lot of times they will spawn farther away from you, and if you just kind of hang out and mind your own business, they won't even notice you're there in the world. But obviously there, I found them staring at me, ready to kill me. So that was not going to be an option. We got another little cave system. Fake cave? I guess there's just a hole. That's not a cave, that's just a hole in the ground. All right. Hello, cows. There's another cave over there. There's some big caves. And sometimes with these high mountains, there might be ancient cities underneath them. I heard a zombie. Gotta have my head on swivel. All right. So if you have an empty bucket, you can go up to a cow, right-click it, and it will give you milk. And you can see here, when I drink this milk, look at the top right of my screen. The milk is gone, and it has cured me of the bad omen. So as they say, milk, it does a body good. Sorry, the baby, the baby made me not want to do that. All right, so we are done for this episode. That is our 30 minutes a day of Minecraft. And that means this is episode 4, that we are done for this first week. So let me know in the comments what you guys want to see me do, what you want to possibly see me try to build. Let me know if you're playing along and using this seed. Let me know about that. I'd love to hear feedback, and don't go though and be like, hey, I looked at this exact coordinate on the seed and I found this exact thing. There are resources out there that we'll talk about later that can help you find stuff if you're really stuck in your world. But one of the joys of starting a new Minecraft world is being able to wander and explore and find stuff without having to have everything spoiled on a map for you. So just be aware of that. If you find something cool, let me know that you found something, but don't tell me necessarily where it is. That's always good information. And yeah, let me know how you're enjoying, what you think of the concept of this series. Right now it's going to be about 4 times a week. Possibly could go to 5 times a week depending on how well it's received. We're going a little over our 30 minutes just because I want to get back home to end the episode. And here we are. Hello, cows. Hello, goats. Can't wait till we get some name tags and we can start giving these guys names. If you guys have a name idea for Mr. Goat here, put it in the comments. Let me know what you think he should be called. And the best one I will incorporate perhaps into a future episode as well. So for now, I am Josh Gets Lost. Seriously? There's another patrol right behind me. I was wondering when those guys would show up. Jerks. We're going to ignore them for now and say goodbye. I'm Josh Gets Lost. Thank you guys so much for getting lost with me. Be sure to subscribe so we can keep getting lost together in the days ahead. All right. Later. Bye.